Hi, welcome to the second yoga video for this week. So this week I started this series, Daily Bon Jovi Yoga, and it's actually, it's inspired by my blog, dailybonjoviyoga.com, where I share, all the yoga, so also when I don't make a video. So it's inspired by the blog, but it's also inspired, or it's tailored, or it's structured in the same way as a yoga studio. So if I would have a yoga studio, I would be offering a hatha yoga class, a power vinyasa yoga class, and the lunar yoga class. So I filmed the lunar yoga video Monday, and today's Wednesday, and I'm going to shoot the classical hatha yoga video for you. So classical hatha yoga means that there are also standing poses. So the lunar yoga, I'm only doing seated poses and lying down, and for classical yoga there's also standing poses. And when we move to the third video, power vinyasa yoga or vinyasa power yoga, then the standing poses and are kind of like tied together, linked together in a flowing movement, and there's also it's also based on sun salutations. So that's coming up, but this is the hatha yoga class, classical hatha yoga. So what I'm going to do is do standing poses with you. So today's video is inspired by a concert that was played on this day. 37? No, wait. 27. 27 years ago. 1995. I have no idea why that took me so long. So on August the 3rd, 1995, Bon Jovi was doing their American or North American leg of their Crossroad These Days tour. And they were in Canada, and this is the second night in Montreal, and it is recorded. We have a great recording, and also it was an amazing concert. Some say it was better than Wembley, which was shot like 1.5 months earlier or something. So in 1995 there was this imbalance where Bon Jovi had played huge stadiums in Asia and in Europe. One of them was Wembley. They sold out Wembley 3 nights in a row. Now I think Wembley is something like 80,000 people every night. So they sold out Wembley 3 times. That's where they made the DVD, Live from London. And then they finished that leg of the tour, and they went to North America. And they were back to 20,000 people venues. So they were like, boom, back to the hard truth that the album had not done as well in North America as it had done in Asia and in Europe. So it was a bit of a heart landing, I imagine. But they played their best concerts, maybe with the exception of 1996, when they did what I call their victory lap. So they went to Asia and Europe again, and 1996 is like really blown away by the quality of it. It's like as if they don't even have to put in any effort. It's that good. But the second half of 1995, when they had to play these smaller venues in North America, great concerts, and they were better than the European leg of the tour and the Asian leg of the tour, that where they were playing these huge stadiums. So it's a great lesson about that sometimes what seems like an imbalance, or what seems like not fair or not working, can create your best work. And sometimes what seems like a big success, and maybe even that what people will remember you for, like Live from London 1995, may actually not be your best work. So today I'm going to do balance poses in this class. Let's get started. So stand up on your mat. And balance poses are actually not very popular in yoga. So there are actually people who don't want to do yoga because of the balance poses. But I'm gonna, teach you a little trick so that you get into the poses more easily, or that you can, have more fun in them. So, we'll figure it out. We'll get something good out of this. So first start with in a wide stance with your feet pointing at, well, not out, but in a diagonal. And then bring your hands, interlace them around the back of your skull. Now squat down deeply. And then from here, bring your weight to your right leg. And lift up your left leg and bring your elbow and knee towards each other. Place the foot back. Again, deep squat here. Coming up and lifting the right knee to the right elbow. So deep squat. And keep that going, but keep it slow. So slow because slow trains the balance. And then release. Okay, so that was just to get into the moving aspect of balance pose, but hardest aspect is, of course, the stillness of balance poses. So we're going to start with tree pose, which is probably the best known balance pose in yoga. So bring your weight onto your left foot and place the right foot somewhere on the inside of the leg. So maybe low, maybe a little bit higher. Keep your standing leg slightly bent. And if you want, you can pull that foot higher up to the inside of your thigh. May depend on if you're wearing very smooth pants, then it may be impossible to place the foot that high up. So just stay here in tree pose. There's also something you can do with the arms, but let's keep it simple. Just keep the arms whatever way you want to have them here. And then release. So when you go to yoga and you do balance poses, it's like 9 times out of 10, this one or a variation of this one, tree pose, will come along. So other side, take your weight onto your right foot and place the left foot, well, somewhere on the leg, maybe low, maybe higher up. Maybe feel if you can take that foot to the inside of the thigh. Maybe not. And just breathe here. And what may be your very first balance pose ever. And release. Now shake out the legs, and shaking out of the legs is also a very light balance pose. So you take the weight in one leg and you lift the other leg up. You relax it as much as you can, and then you shake it out. And then the other side. very popular balance pose or common balance pose is called dancer's pose, or is it called? Yeah, it is sometimes Shiva Nataraj. So Shiva is, there are two principles, two gods. Shiva is the male principle and Shakti is the female principle. And with the male principle, Shiva, you have Shiva the yogi, but you also have Shiva the dancer. And Shiva the dancer is called Shiva Nataraj. So the Sanskrit name of this pose is Nataraj Asana. And this is this statue of Shiva. And or maybe I can take the big one to have a better view. Ta-da! Okay, so this is a statue of Shiva Nataraj, and the dancer's pose that is known in yoga is not this pose, but I can do this pose, or yeah, I can do this pose. So we're going to do what is known as dancer's pose, and we're going to do one that looks like this, and that that is practiced as dancer's pose. It's just not that common. So bring Shiva back. Let's keep the little Shiva here, the little Shiva Nataraj. So first, the common dancer's pose. So what is known in yoga usually as dancer's pose. So you start on with your weight on your left foot, and then you lift your right leg up and you clasp your right ankle with your right hand. So maybe you want to stay here in this version of dancer's pose. If you want to move further, then you can take your right foot up. So you take the knee back and the foot up. And if you want, you can also bring your left hand forward. And come back out of the pose. So moving to dancer's pose on the other side, bring your weight onto your right foot and lift your left leg up and clasp the left ankle with your left hand. So, maybe you want to stay here. Or if you want to move further, then you take your left foot up, your left knee up. And if you want, you can take your right hand forward. And you come up and release. So shake out the legs again. And move to what I have been taught as also a Shiva dancer's pose, and the one that you saw in the statue, which is a very popular statue. I'm sure that, you know, if you were unfamiliar with it, but now you will recognize, oh, that's Shiva Nataraj. And yeah, you'll see it at other places as well, I'm sure. So for the dancer's pose that is depicted in the statue, you take your left foot onto the floor but in a diagonal. And bend that knee, really lean into the leg. And then you lift your right leg up, but you turn your right leg slightly open. So you bend it, slightly open. Then you bring your right hand forward, and the right hand points towards the foot. And you bring your left hand forward, but in a stop sign. You bring the wrists together. And release. So other side, step your right foot onto the floor, but with the toes in a diagonal. Bend the knee, lift the left foot up, turn the left knee out. And then bring your left hand forward, let it point to the foot. And bring your right hand forward in a stop sign. And bring the wrists together. And release. And shake out the legs. So these were two standing balance poses, and I'm going to move you forward to one on the hands, so standing, well, not standing on the hands, I'm not going to do handstand today, but a balance pose on, with your hands on the floor, and one which is called navasana, or the bow pose, and it's also a bit of a balance pose, but with your hips on the floor. So that is, has a whole different feel to it than standing balance poses. So first, for the one on the hands, you come into a very deep squat position. It's kind of like a kneel down. I don't know. I think kneel down is with your knees on the floor, logically speaking, but squat position. And then you spread the fingers wide, and you take the hands onto the floor, shoulder width. So this should still be, very easy, very comfy. And if you want, you can stay here, or you lift the hips up, and you bend your elbows slightly out. Now, lean forward to your hands and let the knees land onto the back of your upper arms. Lift your heels up so you come from the toes onto the backs of your arms. Yeah, so lift the heels up on the toes, move forward. Now from here, lift your head up. Now if you want to move deeper into the pose, you can lift one foot up, or the other, or both. And you come back. Then you come back to the seated position for your final balance pose, Navasana, or boat pose. So the hips are on the floor, bend your knees, take your hands to the back of your legs. Lean back, lift the feet up, lift the chest up. So big toes are together. And And if you want, you can extend the arms and the legs. And release. And then you lie onto your back. So take the arms out and knees in. Now if you don't have enough space for both of the arms to extend them out, you can take the arms overhead. So big toes together, knees wider. Inhale here. And exhale. Bring your knees to the left and let them relax. Inhale, bring the knees up, and exhale, turn them to the right. Inhale up, and exhale, all the way down. Inhale up, and exhale. Inhale, and exhale, and now you just let the legs on the floor. Bring your head to center or turn your chin to the right shoulder. And then you bring your head to center and inhale, bring the legs up, and exhale, bring them all the way to the right. So bring your head to center or turn your chin to the left shoulder. And bring your legs back to center. And now bring your hands on top of your knees. And circle your knees to the left. And then through the middle away from you. Turn to the right and towards you. To the left and away from you. To the right and to center. So you circle the legs. And then you bring the legs to center and place the feet on the floor. Now take your right foot, right ankle, and place it on top of your left knee. Now pull the legs in towards you and bring your right hand through the legs and interlace your hands either around the back of your left thigh or take them all the way across your left chin. And switch the legs, so right foot flat on the floor and take your left ankle against your right knee. Pull your legs in towards you and take the left hand through the legs. Interlace the hands on the back, around the back of your right thigh. or all the way over your shin and your head to the floor. And release the leg. And place both feet flat on the floor. No, not flat. Let the legs extend and take the feet at hip width and let the feet drop open. Keep the hands open next to you with the palms facing up. Close your eyes. Feel every inhale moving to the belly, the chest. Exhale. Feel the belly release. Feel the body relax. And then open yourself up to the idea that areas in your life where you feel you don't have results, not the results that you should have had, and that seems in one way or another not working. Open yourself up to the idea that these could lead to being your best work. Learn to turn inward for approval instead of looking outside of yourself. And then wiggle with your feet and your fingers. Bring your hands high above you. Give yourself a big stretch. And come up to sit. So thank you for sharing your practice with me. Maybe I'll see you in the third video this week, the Vinyasa Power Yoga video, or some other time. Bye bye.